Now for calculating my Marlowe-Crowne. My Marlowe-Crowne variables are these right here, these 6 items. And looking at these, we can tell that the first one and the fourth one, if someone said true to Q16 and to Q19, that means they're giving us the more socially desirable response. So what I want to do here is code a score of false as being 0, meaning not socially desirable. I just have to code these so that the scoring makes some sense. And so I can do this by recoding into different variables. I'm going to take, I have never intensely disliked someone. I am always courteous. And I'm going to change these into Marlowe-Crowne item 1, Marlowe-Crowne item 4, just going in order. The actual numbers do not matter. If they coded it as true, that's still going to be worth 1. If they coded it as false, however, that's not the socially desirable response, so I'm going to recode that as a score of 0. And this will actually create new variables for me. I'm going to paste this so that I can actually check and make sure that I didn't do anything wrong. It's off screen, but I'm going to run that now. And you can see here where it's calculated these new variables for me, and they're going to be the reverse coding of how they showed over here. False is 0, true is 1. So that'll be 0 and 1. That's exactly what I want. Now for the other items, Q17, 18, 20, and 15, these will be the reverse, so that a response of true is the not socially desirable response, and a response of false means you're trying to present yourself in a more favorable light. So these I'm going to recode into different variables in the same way. So now I'm talking about question 17, question 18, 20, and 21, which for some reason is showing up as Q15. So it just means that we kind of gave it a funny, maybe changed the order when we were putting it into Qualtrics. I'm sometimes irritated by people who ask favors of me. Okay, right. If you say true, you're kidding yourself. Okay, so this will be now MC2, MC3, MC5, and I'm just keeping it in the order that we had it in the data set. There's no reason behind this. Nothing magical about these item numbers. The old and new values will now be score of true, 1, is only going to be 0 because it's going to not factor into a socially desirable response. However, a false score of 2 will now mean trying to be socially desirable. So now 1 is 0 and 2 is 1. And continue. I'm going to paste these so that I can check my work. I'm going to run this off screen. And now here they are. You can see 1 is 1 and 2 is 0. Now 1 is 0 and 2 is 1. And now I'm just going to compute my Marlowe-Crowne score, which is now computing a new variable, which will be Marlowe-Crowne score. And it's simply going to be all these new variables added together. And of course I could type right into this box too if I wanted to. That's it. I'm going to paste it. I'm going to run it. And I encourage you guys to do the same thing with this data set to double check. And I see my score, 2, 3. I have a range of scores. I'm going to go ahead and change the decimals because decimals just kind of irritate me a little bit. It's easy enough to do this. We don't need to, the decimals aren't giving us any information with this whatsoever. And I've got scores in the Marlowe-Crowne. I'm just going to run a quick frequency count of these to see what my distribution looks like. And so far, it actually looks like there's a sort of uneven distribution. People weren't necessarily falling for it, which is pretty cool. Let me go ahead and graph it just to get an idea of how this looks. It is not going to be a normal distribution. Isn't that interesting? But we do have a range. We have a range of scores from 0 to 6. That's exactly what we want, but not a whole lot of people popping on being highly, trying to present themselves too favorably. So that is that.